All right, I just finished getting that rocket stove, that very first rocket stove that I built and didn't know anything about, up to what I consider to be fully operational standards. Made all the changes I needed to make to it now that I kind of know how they work. Sure enough, it's true. Okay, let me explain. Yeah, it kind of bugged me that the first rocket stove that I made, I kind of rushed through toward the end. I kind of just threw together the grate on top, thinking anything is going to work, and little did I know it just wasn't. It wasn't going to leave enough air room in the top of the stove for it to function properly. And we eventually figured that out and got it running really, really well. Once we added a few pieces of scrap steel to the top of the stove, it worked just fine. And that kind of bugged me. It kind of bugged me that I didn't do it right in the first place. So I revisited it. And, for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is for example, I know people. I won't mention any names, but I know people. And every once in a while I'm talking to them or hanging out in their shop or their garage or the place where they do their little hobby stuff, and they'll have little projects laying here, laying there, laying over here, and a lot of them are left undone. And a lot of them were practice, and a lot of them were working, but not working very well. And they would always tell me, well, I'll get to it someday, or, I don't need it anymore. I went and did another one, I did, but the list goes on, and there's a lot of unfinished projects, let's just say, laying around their shop. I never understood that. I kind of understood it, but that's just not who I am. For example, if I have a project left undone, it bugs me. It just bugs me. It's like I got to go back, I got to fix it. I got to fix it or scrap it and start over. I just don't want to leave it sit there undone. For example, if I have a neighbor in need or a friend in need, family member in need, or somebody that's in need and wants a rocket stove, well, you know what? I got 6 of them, but one of them doesn't work exactly right. So here's what you got to do. I'll give this to you, but here's what you got to do. You got to put this on top of it, and you got to cover this front end, and you got to do that. You know what? It's just not who I am. So I had to revisit. It's bugging me. And not losing sleep over bugging me, but bugging me nonetheless. So if I want to give it to somebody, I want it to work the way it should work, so they don't have to fool around with it, because sometimes they just forget. There's these little frustrations. They say this thing just isn't working right now. What did he say? Oh, and they won't call because they don't want to bug you and this and that, and so it ends up sitting in their garage unused forever. So yeah, that kind of thing goes through my mind. So I don't like to leave a project undone. So I revisited it, and it works as it should now. All right, we started our day. This is the very first rocket stove that I built, and I made the corrections that needed to be made to it, because if I didn't do it when I had nothing else to do, I would have put it off and not done it at all. So I put the cover on it, and I fixed the top so it has more airflow and can cook better and all that. It's raised up more off the stovepipe, and has pretty good ventilation. So that's done. So I'm gonna fire it up just for fun. I'm certain it worked pretty much without doing any of that, but hopefully it works better now. All right, there they are. There they'll stay till I'm in the mood to put some paint on them. Of course, the giant rocket stove is in the bigger pole barn, and that's where that'll stay. And so I decided to go out into the old goat barn here and see if that old Arctic cat, because it's a nice day, I wanted to see if it would start, which year in and year out it never does. So I turned the key on it. Oop, hold on. It stopped. Let's see if we can get it started again. Anyway, year in and year out, I always had to put it on the charger to take it out for the first time. So sometimes you have to reach under there. It's got a little carburetor adjust valve thing. I thought I'd take it out. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon. Been doing a lot of spring stuff, even though it's not spring. It seemed like spring, so I've been doing a lot of spring stuff all day. So I thought I'd take a break. Yeah, she's starting to idle a little bit now. Let's see if we can find some gloves. Oh, spring is definitely in the air. In fact, this Saturday at 2 o'clock is the Cross Lake St. Patty Day Parade. There's been one year that I remember being up there watching that parade in shorts and a short sleeve shirt. So hopefully it'll be like that this year. Find some gloves here. It's kind of like a little lake out here. That was fun. The only problem when you get older is you get arthritis in your hands, and the more you go, the harder it is to you got to shake your hands out. You just can't keep going. Sometimes you got to pull over, shake your hands out, then keep going. That's part of old age, though. That's okay with me. It was still fun. And then I'm trying something different with these stoves. Gonna do everything with the angle grinders. Everything. Instead of using my saws. You know, like you see on YouTube. It's a challenge. And this time I'm gonna make it different. I just cut this one piece of pipe, and one's 21 inches, 19 inches. Yeah, I've never built one like this before. Till now. Yes, till now. And I'm guessing on the measurements. As usual, I have a thicker gauge steel here than steel here because it's all I have, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to use every bit of it. But, yeah, that's the way it goes. So, while relaxing last night, you know, once you watch some YouTube videos on some certain things that you interested in at the moment, they seem to just appear on your home screen. They just do. They just pop up. You know, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's what you've been watching, here's what you're interested in. So, you know, they're always right. They're always right. So I end up watching some more rocket stove builds. And a lot of these, you know, third world country people, you know, working in their flip-flops with no protective gear, with a stick welder, you know, plugged into a donkey or whatever, and they make the most fabulous product. They just do. They're so good at what they do. It just amazes me how good they are. So another rocket stove popped up, and this one is a different design than all the other ones that I built. And I got to looking at it, and I got to thinking, you know what? I'm kind of bored, you know. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon or whatever it is, and I got all this extra 4x4 scrap. It's different gauge, but it's scrap nonetheless. And so I thought, you know what? That little video of that rocket stove was just heavy on my mind. I just had to build it. I had to build it. Now I'm not going to do a how-to on it. There's people are tired of that, I think. I'm just tired of the old rocket stove builds, but that's okay, because this is a hangout, right? It's a hangout. I don't know the difference between any of them, but I want to make the different kinds is because I like doing it. Square tubing legs. I don't know what to say, guys. Sometimes I just get carried away. You know, these things are fun to build, I think. And this is a different design than my other 5. This one goes directly. I don't know how to say it. It's different. This goes directly into the bottom instead of sitting up like that. It's different than the others. Let's put it that way. Measurements are different. It seems a little bigger even. I don't know if it works. I guess we'll find out here pretty quick. Here's a mistake I made. I had to cut an extra inch off the top and the bottom, the stack and the air intake, because I had too wide a gap for the feed tube. So I'll tell you what, I didn't mind doing it either. I didn't mind correcting my mistake, because hey, like I said, every single solitary project that I do, I absolutely learn something from it. Something new. In fact, in the days to come, I'm going to put this little piece of mistake I made as a lift handle on this stove. So, the rocket stove build is just something that's kind of consumed me, and it's passed away a lot of time, and it's been a lot of fun. It really has. I've really enjoyed doing it. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. And for example, you know, this is no different. This one is no different. It's a different design, a different build. And I learned something like I do on every stove build. Not just learning how to build the rocket stoves, which I got down. Trust me, I have it down now. I have it down to a science. It's the welding technique, the welding aspects of it. You know, watching these people, for example, I said third world countries, which we're fast becoming. Anyway, I digress. Watching these people working with these primitive tools, and I have all the, you know, Harbor Freight, fancy, you know, to them would be the Cadillac of tools. I thought, you know what, I'm going to scale back and start saving my saw blades. And I'm going to learn how to perfect my cutting discs on the angle grinders. You know, I got the Metabo, which I really love the Metabo. And I can use a 6-inch cutting disc with that. And so I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to make this whole project using my Metabo, staying away from the bandsaws and the fancy stuff, and just let it flow. And you know what, I really enjoyed that. So I think I'm going to continue in this because it is all learning. It's all new to me. Still, it's new to me. And I'm really having a ball doing it. So, hey, guys, we got the St. Patty's Day parade coming up. Even though I think St. Patty's Day is over with, I don't know. Well, we got the parade coming up, and the weather's been good, and the snow is melting, and these are the muddy months. But God bless each and every one of you. We're hanging tough up here in the north, and we're still staring at that Kodiak and that truck camper. And in fact, I went out and fired that baby up yesterday. Let it idle for about a half an hour. Turned it back off. Oh, I was pissed off. I was just kind of pissed off that I couldn't use it, get in it, and go. I probably would have if I wasn't worried about the salt all on the roads. But I'm going to keep it out of the salt. I'm going to keep it out of the weather. And we'll probably be doing a more localized camping, let's just say. Not the long distance
Another
camping.
successful rocket stove.
As often because of the price of diesel. But that's going to be in the future. So we'll keep you posted. God bless y'all. See you on the next one.